and it's clear.
Okay. So guys, welcome to MuleSoft Training Day 3. Okay. So in today's I will going to talk about the agenda what we will going to discuss in today's training. Okay. First, let me start with safe harbor statement. Both the speaker and host are organizing this meetup in the individual capacity only. We are not representing any organization or any company here. This is strictly for learning purpose. We are not holding any responsibility or like that same solution will work for you or for your business requirement. You have to do your own evaluation, right? And this presentation is not meant for any promotional activity. It's completely for learning purpose. So we will going to upload the recording of this meetup to the event page within 24 hours. You can ask the question at any time, and we always expect the feedback from you at the end of the meetup. Basically, so I request everyone to provide the feedback. So like if there's anything like you can just mention in the feedback, so we can improve for the future meetups. The organizer and speaker for this meetup is Jitendra, and moderator is myself, Jitendra Bapna and Abhishek Batwal. Okay. So yeah, I just covered this slide. So what we have learned on the day one. So we have just gone through some kind of high level concept like point to point integration. What is integration? What is REST APIs? What is a MuleSoft Anypoint platform? We have a walkthrough of Anypoint platform. Then we have understand the API lifecycle management. We have designed the RAML to create and fetch the account and contact from the Salesforce. We have published the API to Anypoint Exchange. That is what we have done on the day one. On day two, we just understand what is RAML, how we can reuse the RAML using threads, libraries, security schemes, and we also gone through the Open API specification. Then we have seen overview of the Anyone Studio, and then we have started with the API implementation also. Today, we are going to talk about what are the connectors, what is Salesforce connector. We will start implementing the Salesforce system API. We will see like how we can configure the properties and the secure properties. We will deploy the MuleSoft application to the CloudHub. We will understand the API manager and the API gateway. We are going to create a API proxy. We will going to implement the API auto discovery. We will apply basic authentication policy, and we will see how we can apply the client ID enforcement policy. So these are the topics we're going to cover on the day three training. Okay. And one of the I want to just do one of the announcement. So basically, as a part of training, so we will run the quiz at the end of the training. So where we will going to provide a 10 certification vouchers, right, to the winners basically. So we will going to run a quiz on the last day of this particular training, and we will going to provide one voucher to each and every winners basically. Okay. So we have a total 10 vouchers. So we're going to provide that. So what is a connectors? Anybody heard about what is a connector? Anyone? So as name suggests, right? So what connector means? The connector is basically used to connect some systems, basically, right? So you have a reusable piece of component that can be used to connect any system, any devices, any application, or any SaaS-based application also, right? It's a generic code, or it's a kind of it's a code, or it's a reusable code, or it's a reusable component that you can reuse across the multiple applications, basically, and it is basically used to connect any system to perform some kind of operation. For example, I have a database and I want to connect the database, right? So I will create a JDBC connections to connect the database, right? And then I have to perform the operation. So what operation means? So I can perform the select query. I can perform some kind of DML operations like data manipulation language, where I can just do update, insert, those kind of operations, right? So what is the key capabilities of the connectors? So it can connect MuleSoft with many systems. It can connect this legacy systems, Salesforce, SAP, AWS, NetSuite, work for there are many other things so it can basically it can send and receive the data via connectors. It can handle authentication and connection settings for you, and it can perform the operations, right? And it is useful in speed up your integration because it's a reusable component. Once you develop, you can use it anywhere basically. And there are almost 250 plus pre-built connector provided by MuleSoft for connecting various systems that can be located anywhere basically, right? So it's all out of the box. But in case if the connector is not available for some system, mostly you will find the connector is available for most of the system. But in case if you want, if you don't have it, like if you have some system and you want to build the connectors, there might be some in-house systems, right? For that you need to build a connector. So MuleSoft provided a SDK which you can leverage to build a custom connectors. So for that you need to have a good knowledge on the Java. Today we are going to talk about on the Salesforce connector. So like Salesforce, MuleSoft provide a pre-built Salesforce connector to connect Salesforce basically, right? And to perform some kind of operations on that, right? So it allow the Salesforce connector allow to exchange the data between MuleSoft and the Salesforce. So what are the key capabilities? So sales like whenever you want to connect the Salesforce, there are multiple authentication and authorization options are available. So one of them is basic authentication. We have a OAuth JWT. We have a OAuth username and the password. There are many others, right? So it can perform the CRUD operations, and even like it can call the Apex code and like those codes from the using the Salesforce connector. Then it can execute SOSL and SOQL queries to retrieve the data. It also support the bulk API version 2 and version 1, right, for handling the large amount of data. It also work with a streaming API to get the real time updates from the Salesforce, right? And it have a predefined operations, right, which allow you to just configure the operation and connect to the Salesforce to retrieve the data or to perform any kind of operation on like Salesforce objects or like any other things like. So that is what Salesforce connector does. So let me go to my Anypoint Studio. Let me show you the Salesforce connector. So if you see in the Mule palette, right? So this is my Anypoint Studio. So where you like here we have seen like we have built some kind of solution, right? We like first we write the RAML and we have generated this particular flows using the RAML which we have written, right? So today we're going to implement each and every method. So first you can just type Salesforce in the palette. So you can see this many operations provided by Salesforce connector. Like you can see there are many operations. Then we have a Salesforce Data Cloud connector, right? So correct. So we have like you can just you have a bulk API connector. Then you have a like insert query. Those kind of connectors is also available. You can do the upsert operations, right? So those kind of operations available within the Salesforce connector. Any question? Should I move ahead? Okay.
Nothing in the chat.
Okay. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let's start configuring the Salesforce connector. So this is like on day two, we have created this particular project, if you are aware, right? So if anybody is joined first time for today, right? So you can see the recording. So we have generated this, like, it able to generate the scaffolding using the RAML, which we have written, right? So these are the methods. So where we have something methods like get account, which means get all the account, get context, like get the contact. So we want to get a contact for the accounts, get a single account, so where we will pass account ID to get a single contact. Then post account, like we can create the account in the Salesforce object. I'm going to show everything, like then post account slash account ID slash contact. So create the contact for that particular account ID. We're going to start implement each and every method. Okay. So first thing, I have to build a Salesforce connector, right? Salesforce connection. So first thing, like I will show you the Salesforce basically, right? So you can just create a free account on developer.salesforce.com basically, right? And this is how the Salesforce looks like, right? And if you see here, if you type account, right? This is my accounts. So these are all the accounts. So so basically, account is nothing. It's an object. So object is in database. It represented as a table, a SQL table, right? Here we call this as a object. So it is an object which contain certain fields, and like it have a number, like it have a certain amount of data basically, right? So here, if you can see, the account name is a field, and there's a data like So age communication represent one account basically. If you click on this, right, here you can see the detail about those accounts basically, right? So account number, type, and everything, like these are the fields, right, within the account objects. Okay. Then like if you want to see the account object, you can just go to the setup in the Salesforce, and you go to object manager. Here you can see list of accounts available. So there are out of box object available, and you can create a custom object also. Yeah, yeah. So you can just click on the account, and here you can see the fields and relationship, and these are the fields basically available in the Salesforce, right? So if you see some fields with hyphen c, which represent a custom field, the any fields which without hyphen c, it's represent out of a box field. So this is the object by default. Whenever you have a Salesforce, whenever you create the account in Salesforce, you get that. Okay. So these are the certain fields. So basically, as I mentioned, object is kind of a SQL table, right? You can compare this object with a SQL table. Okay. So you got it, right? So now what we will do, so if I want to connect to this particular Salesforce, right? So you need a Salesforce account, you need a password, you need a security token. So whenever you are going to create a Salesforce account, you will get a username and the password, and you want to generate a security token. So you can simply go to the settings. Under settings, you can go to a security token. You can search for security token. You can just click here, reset my security token. Okay, so let me refresh this. So here you can just click on reset security token. You will get the security token over the email. Okay. So whatever email you have configured while creating this Salesforce account, right? You will get the security token on that particular email. So and it is very useful, right? I will show you why. So now I go back to my Anypoint Studio, and I will create one Mule configuration file here. I will just right click, and I will just say new. Here you can just click on Mule configuration file. And generally we maintain all the connection in global.xml. That is what standards we follow. Just simply click on finish, right? And here you can go to the global event, right? And here you can just say create and just search for Salesforce config, right? So this is where I will just start building the Salesforce connection. So if you see the connection, what is the authentication? So there are multiple authentication available, but for this particular, like this is training for starter, right? Initial people. So we will just go with the basic authentication. Then we will see the other also. Okay. The first thing you have to configure the username. So let me copy paste my username from somewhere. So this is my username. Okay. And I will type the password later. And this is my security token. I already copied my security token, which came on the email. And just copy that security token, paste it here. We have to provide a authorization URL, right? So I will show you. This is like this is my authorization URL. I will show you what is this means. Just paste it here. So org.farm is developmysalesforce.com. This is your domain. When you create an account, the one you will assign one domain basically, right? So if you open this Salesforce instance, you can find this particular domain here, this much, right? You can copy this. So this is nothing. This is your domain basically, right? You can use that. Okay. You just go to the home. But don't take this lightning.forcedevelop.com. Okay, so only thing, make sure you just copy this much, develop, ed, something like that. Then what you have to do is, yeah. So you can just up to develop, then you can just type .mysalesforce.com. Even you can just use the logging.salesforce.com. That is also fine. But I prefer to use the right domain. So domain is up to here. So it's nothing org farm like .develop. Then use .mysalesforce.com /services/show/u. This is common. And this is the version number of your API. So we have up to I think 63 or 64. I'm using 61 for now, right? So you can use so you can check the Salesforce documentation and you have to use the version. Then I can just provide my password and I will just do the test connection. If everything is good and you configure everything correctly, right? So it will just say test connection successful. If something is wrong with the password or anything, right, it will not. So the connection has been successful. Just say okay. So we have configured the connections in the global.xml. This is my connection. I already configured. But for now, if you see, I have hard coded everything, and this value can change from production from one environment to another environment. I'm going to show you how we can use the properties. But for now, just I have hard coded those things. Okay. Any question on connection?
No.
Okay. It's clear, right? If you have any questions,
Yes,
just
please.
let me know. Yeah. So we
Okay.
have built the connection and like we are good and we have tested the connection we are able to connect to the Salesforce. So each and connect, most of the connector provide the option where you can test the connection instantly. Like as soon as you configure it, and you can test it instantly, right? So that is one of the advantage. Now let's do one thing. I want to fetch all the accounts. So I want to implement this particular get slash account. So I want to fetch all the account from the Salesforce. So okay. So I have a queue.
Jitendra,
Yeah.
sorry to cut you off there. Just wanted to make sure on when you say, the with properties we can, get the dynamic
Mhm.
credentials. So it is something like, we can set up and see
Yeah, Nakul, I will
the
come on that. So
credentials
we,
can be updated dynamically for different orgs.
yeah, I am come. I will come on that, Nakul. Okay, so we will going to create a properties file. It's not about, or see, you have to see like so you will have a different properties for each and every environment, right? Because the
Right.
credential can change for from environment to environment, basically, right? So if you are deploying on the production, you will not go every time you will not go and change the connector, right? Connector setting. It is not preferable, right? In future, like let consider my password got changed on the production. So I just want to update the production config, right? So or I just want to update the production that password, right? So for that we have something called properties and secure property. I will going to showcase that. We have this particular in this demo, okay? In
Okay.
this
Okay.
particular, so I will going to showcase those things like how you can configure the property, how it will automatically pick the like environment wise properties and all those things. I will going to cover that.
Sure. Yeah. Sorry.
For now, like I'm just going with simple to like complex concept. So let's I just start with simple so people can understand easily, right? Yes, Srinivas.
So this might be probably an answer to Nakul. So the reason why you don't want to hard code and you want to parameterize is for two reasons. One is either your username, password, or token changes. It's easy for you to parameterize and pass it as a part of the file, so that way you don't have to go change the code.
Yeah,
Second
there
one
are
is
yeah, there are
second
multiple.
one is if you're trying to promote the code, then it's easier for you to do it using parameterization than hard coding it.
Correct, and
Is
there
that
are
correct?
other things also. Okay,
Got it.
so like it's better to make. I will come on that part. Okay, so we have it like we have a topic. We're going to cover properties and the secure properties. Okay, so let's go step by step. Okay, so we have a get account. So I want to fetch all the account. So generally we can like we can use the SOKL query, a Salesforce object query language, to fetch the account details. I want to fetch all the account. So I already written one of the query. So this is my query. So select the star ID and all this thing. So let me go back to my Salesforce instance. Let's verify the query. To verify the query, you can use the developer console. Okay. So I can just go to query editor. I can paste this query and you can just see like select ID, name, industry, phone, website, account annual number of employees, ownership, ratings, all this thing, right? I will just execute this. So I got the response back. If you see here, I'm getting the list of the account, right, with this particular query. If you want to put some kind of limit, if you want to fetch just 5 or 6 account, you can use the limit 5. So I just paste the 5 account. Okay. So this is my right query. So I can just say copy. I paste it, and I can here what I will do. I will create a new file here, new mule configuration file, right? And I can just say Salesforce account implementation by MPL. Okay, so that is what I will do. Just finish it. In MuleSoft, we have something called flow, basically, right? So you can just drag and drop the flow here. In this particular, like for this particular flow, I will not have any source, right? So I want to call this particular flow somewhere in this particular flow, basically, right? You can use the subflow only. I will going to talk about what is difference between flow and subflow. So just for now, I just call this particular flow here, and I will just name this flow. So here you just have to name the flow. So here I can just say uh, IMPL flow. What this flow do? Get all account. Okay. Then I can do one thing. I can just drag and drop a Salesforce query connector. So we have something called Salesforce query all. If you want to query all, you can just drag and drop a query all operation. And here you can see the connection which we have created. It automatically pick that, right? Just paste this query. Okay. So here we can just paste the query. select ID name, like whatever fields we want, we just pasted it. Okay, we do not have to do anything. It's very simple, like we have pasted it. Now what happened, like whenever we, whenever the output generated by this particular component, it is in the form of Java basically, right? We have to convert it into JSON format. So we have something called transform message. We just drag and drop a transform message. Okay, and here you can simply just convert JSON and simply say payloads. So whatever Java format will be automatically get converted into JSON format. As simple as that, right? It's very simple, like, and always I prefer to just give a component name. So like converting JSON response. What you are doing here? So just keep on giving name query all accounts. I will use some kind of logger. So I can just say logger, right? And so it's just if you want to log something, like we have a info, warn, trace, error debug, you can use this logger component. So I can just say, querying all the Salesforce account started. I can copy this. I can just put it here again. Just, just put double quotes. I just enable the expression. It's fine. Like, you can just go it here also. So I just done. So here I'm just adding a logger. So I can just give like log flow start. Always, like, it's a good practice to give a good name. So if somebody is looking at your code, he can easily understand. And instead of started, I can just say completed. Right. So now what we have to do, we can go to system API, right? And we want to refer this particular flow. So this is this something generated automatically. I can delete this. We have something called flow reference, which can like refer to the or which can call the flow basically. So flow reference, and here I can just in drag and drop in this particular drop down, I can just say Salesforce get account flow. I can copy this, and here I can just say invoke. It's kind of, you are not this one. I will copy this. This is just the name. Here it doesn't matter display name, but make sure you are selecting the right flow name here, right? So that is what I've done. So let's see. Let me save and run it locally. So I will just right click and run this project. I will talk about flow and subflow difference. Okay, so let's understand, like, first we start implementing the API, then like when to use flow, when to use subflow. Here I would have used the subflow also. That's fine. If everything is good, then it should okay. It's here, you can see status deployed. It's deployed. Okay. Now I can go to the Postman, and in Postman I can just say get a localhost 8081 API / accounts. So how I get this endpoint? So if you see, let me show you. I have this HTTP listener when I created the scaffolding. So it automatically picked the port number. If you see this configuration, right? Salesforce. So it picked the port number 8081, right? So that's why we put the port 8081. And from where we get that path, like, if you see if you go, if you see this, right? /API/star, right? So /API/star means like it will route whenever I say the /star, right? So whenever I send the /account, it will route the request to this, right? So that is where, that is the job of the API kit router. So I'm saying HTTP localhost 8081 /API/accounts. Let's send. See, I got the response here. You can see it, right? I got, like, proper response, proper JSON message basically. You can see it here, right? So HTTP, all these accounts I got, billing city, rating, everything I got right in the response. So this is the first API we have built, right? The simple API we have built. So let me go back to my query. Okay, and Salesforce. Let me check one of the thing. Okay, which looks good. So I got the all accounts. Any question on this? We will implement now a second API where we just pass the ID, right? And we can fetch the single account. So we get all this data. We got the proper JSON format, right? And we got this response basic without doing any transform message or anything. We just converted from Java to JSON because connector output is in the Java format. I will show you. Let me, if I don't use that component, what will happen. So let me just toggle this comment. I will just disable this particular component. I will save it. As soon as I will save it, it should redeploy automatically because it's already running, right? So once you save it, and if your application is running, it will redeploy it. Okay. So let me go back and let me send it. See, we got some kind of response, but with an error basically, right? So let me check. Right. So here, like, what is happening? Like, we are not doing some kind of conversion, basically, right? So here we got the error, basically, but generally it should return the. Okay, I haven't logged it also. So let me do one thing. Let me run it. Because the what is happening here, the output generated by this particular Salesforce component, right? We have to convert either into JSON or XML or whatever format you want, but we have to do the conversion from Java to JSON or some other format. That's why we use transform message, and under transform message, like we use that just payload and content type equals to application slash JSON. It should show the error again. Yeah. So that's why I always like prefer to convert this basically. So just say toggle comment. Okay. So let me save it again. So here I just written a simple data wave. So output application slash JSON, it's nothing, it's kind of content type. What is your output content type? And here I just saying payload. So what I don't want to do any complex transformation, whatever payload coming as output, just convert it into the JSON format. Here you can see it, right? So these are, see, it automatically generate the metadata for you. So this is the output metadata basically, and here we are just converting into the JSON format, right? So it's simple. Like I will going to show, we will talk about data view also. So how we can do the complex transformations and all those things. Let's first understand this, all these particular things. Then we will go with the data view also. So let me go back to console and let me send the request again. I got a 200. I want to show you something. So here, if you see, I just started like I'm querying all the Salesforce account started, querying all the Salesforce account completed. So this logs everything here and there basically. Right? And now next question, next thing. So now I want to face a single account on the basis of account ID. So I'm aware, like here if you see, I have a second method, get account slash account ID, right? This one, get slash account ID. So I want to face a single account on the basis of account ID. So for that, I will go back here, right? I can copy this particular flow, I can paste it, right? Instead of query all, I can use query all also, that's fine. But I will copy this, remove this. There's a query component also, right? So I can go back here, select query. Only thing will change here. I will put a where condition, where ID is equals to single quotes, and you can declare variable as a colon account ID. Okay, single quotes. That is the what you do. So where ID is equals to under single quotes you can put just colon account ID. That's how you declare. Now I have to assign the value to this particular variable, right? So let's wait. I will assign that. Okay. Okay, just give me a second. So clear, right? So what I'm doing now, from where we will get the account ID? From where we will get the account ID? Anybody? Any guess?
The query parameters.
No, it's a URI parameters, right? So we have a URI parameters here. So I will just delete this. I will just delete this. So let me go back to this account. This is not get all account, right? This is get single account. I will just name like that, single account, right? And I can just read this URI parameter here. I can use set variable after log. So on the set variable, I can declare a variable called account ID and just enable the expression, and I can just say attributes dot URI params dot account ID, right? That is how you read the URI parameters. This account ID name comes from this URI parameters, right? Make sure this name and that name is matching. That is how you declare the variable. It's kind of you declare a variable in Java or C# or any other languages. Here you can use the set component, set variable component. I can just say set variable account ID. Simple. So just declare it. Now I will go to query. I can just I can display name query single account. Okay. So now I already give the query. So I already provide the query, and we have a variable account. So here I will just click on fx, which means expression. So now I can just put like this and just make it bigger. So what is the variable name? The variable name is account ID. This is the variable name of the query. Now to access the variable which you have declared in the set variable, use the keyword called vars dot and you will see the account ID. Right, you use the vars. So vars is nothing variable dot account ID. So that is how you are accessing the variable which you have declared in the set variable. And this account ID, it's a variable declared in the query in the query, basically in the Salesforce query. Just done. Okay. So now next thing we have done this and query single account transforming the response. Then go back to Salesforce system API and just say flow reference. Just drag and drop a flow reference here and just make sure you are referring to the right flow. I will just say single account, control C, and I can just put invoke. Why it's not copied? Invoke. Okay, looks good. So we have defined two flow, right? So we have two flows. Basically, one is to get all account, one is to get a single account, right? So you have seen just a simple change in the single account where we just putting a where condition in the query parameters in the in the query basically. Okay. So here I will just copy one of the ID. I should have ID somewhere. I copy this ID. Just send it. This is the all account. Now I want to fetch a single account. Just let's see if it works. So we got a single account, right? Now if I want multiple accounts, just say I pick another one, another ID. I got a single account. Any question?
Hey, one quick clarification, Jitendra. So
Yes, it
when
is.
you ran the single account query, when you see the output, when you pass the URI value, the ID doesn't seem to match the one with the ID that is
No.
there in the displayed. Is it different?
Let me check. So A0. Oh, okay. You let me check why it's not matching. It's a good observation. Let's see. Okay. Let me check. It should match. So let me. If it's coming KE, okay. It's I know what's the problem. I think if it's got deployed or not. Let me check. I've saved it. No, I haven't. Okay, it was. What is happening? Like, Srinivas, it's a good observation. I haven't deployed it. So previously, what there are transform message component, and there is a hard coded message there, right? So that was coming. Thanks, Srinivas. It was a good observation. I haven't saved it, so that's why it haven't deployed it. Okay, let's see now. Okay, cool. So let me fetch all the accounts and let's see this time whether we get the ID matches. Copy this slash. Let me check what happened. Is the application stopped? Yeah, it is redeploying. That's fine. Okay. So send it. Let me check. Yeah, this time is matching. Okay. QAK. Srinivas, this time is matching. Thanks for that catch. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's verify one again, once a different ID also to make sure like we are doing correctly. Let me pick something from behind. Send it. Yeah. Now it's matching. Okay. Good. Any other question?
Is there like any limitation like when we are fetching the data from accounts? Like if you are having like million of records.
I mean, if you cannot like for million of records, we always prefer to go with bulk API, right? Or like we always prefer to use some kind of pagination mechanism, right? So like with select query, see, of course, there is no limitation, right? There is definitely like what will happen if you are fetching million of record with the select query, right? You will not get a result in 10 minutes also, right? You will not going to get the result in 10. So that's why we have a bulk API. So where you submit the query, right, and like it will going to generate that output, and you can fetch that particular output easily. So that is why bulk API is there. Basically, the Salesforce also support kind of bulk API. We can use that bulk API. But like for real-time API, I will not go suggest to use this particular approach. For this is whatever we are doing, this is for real-time API. In case if you want to do some kind of batch processing, or if you want to do some kind of bulk retrieve of data, retrieve of data. So there are other mechanism available. Like we have a ETL using batch processing. Then we have a bulk APIs available. We can use those.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So now what we will do, we will deploy the application. So before we move ahead, like we will deploy this. Let me log into my AnyPoint platform. Wait, it's gone. Just log into AnyPoint platform. So we have two options. Either we can use CloudHub 1.0 and CloudHub 2.0. We will cover the what is CloudHub 1.0 and CloudHub 2.0 in the later, because that is some kind of networking concept. So we can talk about those things later. Okay. So we have a sandbox here, right? And if you want to deploy the application, you just go to the runtime manager, right? And you just this is the environment. So you need to select the right environment and click on deploy application. Before that, what I can do, I can generate a jar file for this. So I will simply save everything, and I can just say export next, and I will just save on my desktop so I can easily find it. Desktop, save. I will simply say finish. I'm creating the jar file. Okay. We have a CI/CD and everything, but we will not going to cover. This is just a basic training we talk about. Yeah. First, we will cover everything, like everything. Then we can talk about the other thing. So here, like I just created the jar file. I can simply go back to my AnyPoint platform. Here, see, we have two options. So either like okay, for me it's already only the cloud of 2.0, so I can use this particular shared space. Okay. So like this is the latest version, cloud of 2.0. So I can simply say where you want to deploy. So this is hybrid. We will not going to talk about this. Is just a developer training. Like these are the all options come as a part of the MuleSoft platform architecture. So we have some kind of discussion on this topic in January 2026. We can talk there. So but for now, I will just select the safe space. Right. I will give an application name. I can just say Salesforce System API. I can just say Mumbai. So make sure this name is unique across the whole MuleSoft, across your organization, basically. Like otherwise it will check for that. You will come to know when you are putting the name, it will going to check, and you will just if this name available or not. So you can just upload a file, and wherever your file is available, go to that particular location. So my file is this Salesforce System API. You just select this, and here you can select what I will just go with long time support 4.9.1. It will Java 17. Here you can select replica count 1, 2, 3, 4. How much replica count? If you want a high availability, right? And if you want to deploy the multiple instance of your same application, you can select 1, 2, 3, 4. For now, I will just go with the one. It's just a training, but you have a multiple, like, you can select the multiple replica for running your application, which will ensure the high availability. Okay. Then you can select the size of your replica 0.1, 0.2, 1 V core. I will just go with the 0.1 V core basically. So it provide 1.2 GB of memory basically, right? So I will just go with 0. And I can just say deploy application. So let's see how much time it takes. This is the one of the way. If you want to deploy from Anypoint Studio, you can simply right click and go to Anypoint Studio and just say deploy to the CloudHub. That is the second option. Not now. Select the environment sandbox. Same screen you get it here, right? So for now, my Salesforce system API, if I say Surat, right, you just give a name Surat, just select the deployment target, where you want to deploy, right? Select the release channel like long term, like 4.1, whatever, right? So then here you also get like replica count and everything are getting it, right? And you can just say deploy. Here you can see the deployment of model is rolling update and the recreate. What does this mean? So rolling update will ensure that zero downtime your application. So basically your old application keep running till new application is not deployed. In case of new application deployment failure, the API request will be served by the previous instance of your application. Once your new instance of application is successfully deployed, then the old instance is deleted basically, and the new application, new instance will start serving your request. So it's a zero downtime deployment or zero downtime update. Recreate. So whenever you are doing the deployment, it will going to delete the previous one and start deploying the new one, right? So that is the difference between rolling update and the creator recreate. So let me see, you like if anything is deployed, something went wrong. Okay, something network issues or this can happen. Generally, the Salesforce system API, you just choose the file. I don't know what happened. Generally, long term. Okay. And I just select all keep for default rolling update. Just say deploy application. Let's stay here. Error is trying to set API. Okay, so I don't think some issue is there. Let me go back. Mm, I can update the version. Let me do one thing. Generally, it should not happen like that. I just snapshot. Let me do one thing. Like sometime what happened, like it already deployed the application. I can also import from file exchange. Okay. Let me do one thing. So I will, for now, I will just deploy from any point from here only. I don't know what's happening. Generally, it should deploy it. Let me do one thing. Any point platform, deploy to CloudHub. Salesforce system API hyphen Mumbai. Okay, and ingress properties, everything looks good. I will keep everything. I can just change this list to long-term support. Deployment model. Let's see if it's deployed from here. So it's building till that, like, we'll talk about, like, let it get built. So we'll talk about the properties and secure properties. So generally, MuleSoft properties are used to store the configuration values, like any values like that you need to reuse across your application, right? Or like you can just keep outside your code basically. Like you can define in the properties file or YAML files basically, right? And then we also have a secure property file where if you want some sensitive data, like if you want to store password or if you want to store some kind of sensitive data, you can just encrypt and you can just store in those files basically. So that is what we can use. Like we have a two types of file. One is MuleSoft properties file where you can just store URLs or any username or anything. In case if you have some password or security token or client ID and client secret, you can encrypt those and you can just store in those secure properties file. And like what are the key capabilities? It store the configuration values in the property file. It separate the environment specific setting. So as I mentioned, right? So you can have all dev related things into a dev config file, test related things into the test config file, prod related thing in the prod config file. You can encrypt and decrypt the sensitive data and keep the confidential safe, like or whatever secure property is there, right? So where you can just I will show you how you have to encrypt and decrypt the properties. Okay. And then it is easy to maintain those configuration files basically or configuration data. So that is we're going to talk, like after once it get deployed. I don't know why it's not deploying today. So yeah, something is probably I said to the I got the problem. Okay, I think I got the problem because like we have a RAML, right, which we define with some same name, right? So we want to just make sure, like we have a asset name is different. I just want to change. I got the problem, so I can simply say hyphen Mumbai. Yeah, you just have to change the artifact ID because why it's happening. I will show you. I will show you why it happened. That is so. If you go to Exchange, right, and if you go, so I already deployed this particular Salesforce system API, right, with the same name, right, which is also defined in this particular file. That might be one of the reason. So that's why it's failing. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me rebuild it. So let's see. I will export it again. Export. Next. This. Yes. So it required the unique name across the organization, the asset name, right? So that's why it's failing. That might be the one of the reason because it was saying like this particular asset ID is already present or some kind of error it's throwing. Let's see. Let's go back to the runtime manager. Just say deploy application. Here you can give any name. The whatever the name in the pom.xml you are giving, right? That should not match with any asset within your organization. And here I can just put a Salesforce hyphen system API. I will quickly do it. Just upload file. I don't know why it upload. Salesforce system API. I can just go to long-term support and I'll keep everything default. Just say deploy. Hopefully this time it will get deployed. Again, it's failing. What's happening here? Let me check why it's failing. Because we have changed the. Just a minute, yeah. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm just checking. Yeah, guys, just I'm deploying. Give me 1 minute. Like I think it's issue related to organization ID. I will let you know what we have. Let's wait. It's getting deployed. Okay. So give me a 2 minutes. It will get deployed and then I will explain you. Okay, it is getting deployed. Okay, so what I think the problem here it's related to organization ID. So here what happened, like generally, like when we deploy the application in the cloud of 2.0, right? So I think we need to use this artifact ID, which is the organization ID. So you have a group ID. So there's a two places from where you can get the group ID. So basically, one of the places is like API manager, right? And like from API manager, you can simply click on environment. You get this environment ID basically, right? You can okay, you can get this particular business group ID, right? You can copy this group ID, and you can use that group ID into your application basically in form.xml. That which is what I have done. That's the one place which is important, right? Now make sure we have this group ID. I will just save this, um, and I will just right click it, and I will just export this now. Okay, and the second way, like you can get it from the access management basically, right? Okay, so you can go to access management, under access management, like if you click your business group and if you click on self, right? So you can see it in the URL also, this particular group ID. These are the two way where from where you can get the group ID. If we go to runtime manager, it is taking bit of time for deployment. Still it haven't came. Okay. So let me, like it is still uploading to Exchange. So what I can do, I can just say deploy application. I can do it from here, or I can do one thing, like, you can just import the file from Exchange. What it has done, like, it may have uploaded to Exchange. It's saying uploaded to Exchange basically, right? So then in that case, you can just search for Salesforce, right? System. Let's leave this. I don't want to waste the time. So for now, like I'll just put the name Salesforce System API Mumbai demo. I'll just put some different name. I have to choose the file, which I just now exported. Hopefully this time it will. Generally, it should not give these errors. Yeah, it should have. Hopefully, I will keep everything default and just say deploy application. Or it might be some. Don't know what is happening here. I don't know.
Maybe can we see the
No,
dependency what we have for
no,
that?
it's not related to dependency. I think I have some restriction on this free account. I don't know. Generally, it should not
Actually,
happen, right?
it it was saying that type was found app, but it should be REST API,
No,
something like
it
that.
is Mule app only. This is correct. Okay, that
Yeah.
is not related to this. Okay, so it seems some other issue because generally it should not happen like that. Okay, so I'm just checking. Here you can see it's Mule application only, right? So it should not happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
which is correct. Yeah. So I think there is some issue with. I don't know. Let me do one thing. Give me a second. I'll just create file new Mule project. It can be. I see one problem. Mule test API. I can just say finish. I know I can see one of the issue. Prompt.xml. Again, I know the problem. I think I'm not sure, but I think this is the problem. I think. Let me check. Let's just export this. Next, finish. Give me a second. Because it get directly deployed, right? Like you should not have these issues. Okay, let's see now. I think it using some wrong classifier. That might be the issue. I don't know from where that come. Choose file, upload file. I can just yeah. This is the Salesforce system API. I'll keep everything default for now. Just say deploy application. I think that is the problem. Because I've configured all everything is properly. It's not taking extension to Packaging is also right. Okay. Let me change the version. Okay, I'm trying this once more. Otherwise, I will just show in other account. Okay. This has a-
Hey, Jitendra, can you try deploying it to a CloudHub 1
Yeah,
instead
I
of
don't have
CloudHub
a
2?
cloud of one. Yeah, I don't have a cloud of one. That's a problem. I have other instance I will deploy there. Okay, in case if it's not get deployed now. I don't know what happened to this. Generally, this happen automatically, right? Yeah. For now, just forget
So
about the name. Yeah.
does your pom.xml have a classifier REST-API anywhere or
No, no,
no?
we don't have to define all those things, right? The classifiers and everything. We just have to make sure the packaging is a Mule application. Rest of the things it remains same. Like we don't do anything much about that. Okay. This is the problem. Okay. So let's do one thing. Okay. So let me do one thing. I don't have a cloud of 1.0. Let me go back to another account. I think some problem with this account, or let me sign out from here. So let's wait. Like I will like I just don't stop for deployment for now, but we can do locally for now. Okay. So I will find out like what's the problem. Okay. So we can try it at the end at the end. Okay. So we will like till that let's do one thing. We don't waste the time. So now what we have to do, right? So let's wait. We will fix it. Okay. So some issue is there. We will fix it. Okay. So like now what we have to do, like whatever connector I have configured it here, right? So that is everything is hard coded for now. So I want to make sure like, I can just put it into the configuration file, this username, password, security token, and the authorization URL. So from password and security token will go into the secured properties, and this authorization and this username will be go into the normal properties file. Okay, so that's what we will do. So what for that? So there's a two way. Either you can create a YAML file or either you can create dot properties file. Mostly we go with a YAML file. So I will under source means resources. I will just right click and I will just say new folder. I will just say config. I will create a one folder called config. Under that, I will create some files. The first file I will create uh, something called config dev. Dev is nothing. This is the environment name YAML. Okay. I will just say finish. I will create one more, which is secure dev. New file secure dev dot YAML. Okay. So these are the two properties. Now here I can just say Salesforce, right? And give a two space. Okay. Then I can just say token or auth URL, right? The first we need a auth URL. That's the first property. Then we have a username. It comes under double quotes. So now I can copy my auth URL, right? So let me go back to my notepad and let me copy this. This is my username. So I can define in the properties, right? And the next thing here, I have to provide the auth URL. I can copy this auth URL. I can paste it here. Okay. So that's what we have done. Now under secure dev, we have two properties, Salesforce space password. Under password, I'll just put under, then security token. Okay. So what I will do, I already encrypted my password. I just don't want to show you. I will show you how we can encrypt this security token. This is my password. I already encrypted it. Can you please go on mute? So, and we always put this encrypted property under exclamation square bracket. I just paste this property under the square bracket. That's how we put it. Same thing, we have to put I think this is the password. This is the password. And now I have a security token. So MuleSoft provided one online tool, right, which is known as secure properties generator. So just copy here, and here you can see what operation you need to perform. Encrypt. What is algorithm? I will use Bluefish. Then what is the state? These are the three parameters you need to configure. So there are various algorithms supported. Then key. You have to provide the encryption key. So I already have an encryption key. So this is my encryption key. I will copy this encryption key. I can paste it here, and I have to provide the value which needs to be encrypted. So then for that, I can just go to this particular thing and paste it here. I can just say generate. It will generate the encryption value for you. Just copy this and just again put double quotes, exclamation, square bracket close. So these are the things you need to define. Now next thing, you go to global.xml, create, just say configuration, right? Under configuration, not property configuration. Okay, just say create property configuration properties. Here you have to provide the file. It's under config slash config hyphen. I will declare one variable called mule.env. I will show you, and dot YAML. So this I have to pass it as a dynamically, basically, right? So we can pass this as a dynamically. So I'm just say config slash config hyphen dollar mule.env dot YAML. Okay. Now I want to create for secure also, right? So we don't have a secure here. So we have to download the secure properties, right? So if you go, if you go to message flow and just search in Exchange, just click search in Exchange and just search for secure property. So you can go from palette, you can just click on search in Exchange and just say Mule secure configuration property, just say add, just say finish. Okay. So we got the secure property, go to global element. Now I search for secure. You get a secure property config. Again, in secure, we will just say config slash secure hyphen dollar. That's how you read the global property dot env dot YAML. Okay. You have to provide the key. I will store my key in dollar mule dot secure dot key. Okay. Here you need to choose the algorithm. I use the Blowface. I will use that algorithm, and okay. So that's it. Like, you have to configure this. Now you have to set a true property. See, whenever you deploy the application within CI/CD pipeline, you use that, you pass those properties dynamically. For now, I will just keep it into the code. So I can use the global property mule.env. I want to pick a dev. Just say okay. I want to create a more global property mule.secure.key. Okay, so this is my secure key, the key which I use for the encryption. I just paste this. We will not keep in the code, but for now, just I kept it in the code. Just save it. Now go to the Salesforce connector. It is building the project. Now go to the Salesforce connector. We will restart removing hard coded value. So I can just say dollar curly bracket Salesforce dot username. That is how you read the property. I can remove this. Just say show password. To access the secure property, you use dollar secure colon Salesforce dot password. Right, same thing with the security token, secure colon Salesforce dot security token. Now auth URL dollar, it is just Salesforce dot auth URL. Okay, so that's what you do it. So generally, like for reading the secure property, you use secure as a prefix colon then Salesforce dot password, secure colon Salesforce dot security token. Now you just test the connection. If it's able to read the properties correctly, okay. It is not able to read it, something is not right. We will see secure dot Salesforce dot password, secure dot Salesforce dot security token, secure dot Salesforce dot auth URL. Okay, just because I might not saved, that might be the one of the reason. Okay, so config dev, just read auth URL is correct, username is correct. Let's read it here. Password security, it looks okay. Let's retest it. I will just say test connection. Okay, security Salesforce secure colon Salesforce dot security token, Salesforce dot username. Let me see the password. Secure Salesforce dot password, Salesforce dot auth URL. Okay, this is looks good. Let me just verify the configuration property, config slash config hyphen mule dot env dot yaml, which is also good. Okay, and dollar mule dot secure key, right key is this mule glowfish secure slash mule dot config slash secure slash mule dot env, which is also okay. This all looks good. Okay, so let me config slash, I think slash is correct. Okay, this all looks good here. So let me test it once again. I want to check few things. So before I change anything, mule.env looks good. Okay, I'm just stop saying because I'm checking my password. Okay, whatever password is configured, it's correct or not. I just don't want to record my password. So I will just encrypt the password and I will reshare it. Okay. Just I'm encrypting the password. Okay, let me reshare it. Allow to share screen, entire screen. Okay, so let me save it. Let me deploy it and let's see what's the problem. I'm deploying it here only. Run. Abhishek, can you see my screen?
Yeah, Jackie.
Okay, deployed. It is deployed. Let me check. Okay, it's saying username, password, or security token, or user logged out. Okay, how it can be logged out? Okay, so invalid username, password, or security token, or user logged out. It cannot be invalid. Check username is correct. This URL is correct. So let me do one thing. Let me regenerate the token. I will just stop the sharing. Okay, so I think my account is logged out. Give me a second. Just resetting the token. Okay, good. It's working now. I think it's my account got logged out. So just my security token got logged out. So that's why it's failing. So I just generated a new security token and I just encrypted it. You can see the test connection successful. Okay. So here what I've done, I just generate a new security token, right, and just encrypted that, and I just added the right token to my secure dev.yaml. Any question on secure properties? Like any question? So what we have done, I will tell you. We have configured a two file, config-dev, secure-dev, right? And config-dev have like all property which is in the clear form, right? Clear text basically. And with a secure-dev have a property which is encrypted, like exclamation, and we put under the exclamation square bracket and then the encrypted data and just close the square bracket. That's what we are doing. Then in the global.xml, we have defined a configuration property. We are telling from where we need to read a file basically. So here we are saying config and config hyphen dollar mule.env.yaml, which means this mule.env we will pass it as a dynamically. So if you are deploying into the production, we pass the mule.env as a equals to prod basically like that. For dev we will pass as a dev. So here what we will do for each environment, we will create a config hyphen environment.yaml, config hyphen environment.yaml, like config hyphen qa.yaml, config hyphen qa.yaml, like that, config hyphen prod.yaml, secure hyphen prod.yaml. Those kind of files we will going to create it. Okay. So for each environment, we'll create a file, and like even you can keep a separate secure key for each and every environment also. That is also possible, right? So that's what we have done. So we have just created config, then we've just went to the Salesforce config, and we have just changed from like hard coded to the this dollar curly bracket Salesforce dot username. Then for reading the secure property, we use the secure colon as a prefix, right? Like that we have read it and just test connection it. Okay, it's okay. Okay, so here then we set two global properties also, which we can pass dynamically from CI/CD or whenever we are deploying the application, right? So that's what we have done. So now we will go with implementing the another method, which is a post. Okay, so I want to create an account now basically, right? So basically whenever I will get a JSON request, I will get some kind of JSON request, and I want to create the account into the Salesforce. So for that we will use the post method, post/account. Any question before I move into next topic? I know there is a one topic pending for deploying the application. Yeah, there are some issues. I will fix that particular issue. Any question on properties and the secure properties? Anybody have any question?
One thing Shurendra was asking, like how you got the key. So I
Key,
told.
you can generate your own key, right? So key will be your own key. Like we are not getting. I use some GUID as my key, right? So which key, whatever key you are using for encryption, right? You may require later for decryption also, basically, right? So key can be anything. Like if you want to more stronger key, you can have a more stronger key. Like it depend on you, like what kind of key you want, 16-bit or you want 12-bit or you want 8-bit. You can generate your own key. You can just use the key as a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 also. You can use the any keys like MuleSoft at the rate of 1 2 3 4 5, anything like.
So just like we need to pass a random key there, and the
Yeah,
value
but
as like
whatever key
your
you are
password.
passing, you need to be keep for the future reference, Vikas.
Okay, thank you.
Also to add, like we can use any online tool as well, right?
Yeah, this is
Any
yeah.
key generator or anything to do that.
Correct. So for this, I've generated some kind of GUID. Now, if I want to decrypt this method, right? So if I want to decrypt this, right? So I just paste this here. I will change the method to decrypt. Make sure algorithm everything is same. So it will decrypt it. So for encryption and decryption, we have to use the same key. That is the same key I'm passing with the secure properties also, right? So that's what we have to do. Okay. So let's start implementing the post method. So let me go back to my RAML. So what is the payload it is expecting, right? Or before, like, let me implement one method. Like, no, let me go back, log into that. So let me go back to my design center. And this is my Salesforce system API. Okay. And here, like, what is request it is needed, like post account request. This is a request it is expecting. Okay. So let me go back to my Salesforce account implementation. Here I will create one more flow. I just copy this first. Paste this. And here I can just say post account. Okay. So log, I will just put query. I will just say create a Salesforce account started. Salesforce account started. Create Salesforce account completed. Right. And I don't want any set variable. Instead of that, I can use the transform message. Here I can use a transform message. Right. I put it at wrong place. Okay. Okay. So not an issue. So I can just do one thing. I done the changes here. I can revert it back. Okay. And I can make this as a get. That's fine. Okay, so log create Salesforce account started, and here I can just say create Salesforce account completed. Okay. So next thing, I use the transform message. So whatever JSON I have it right. So I can just create one example here. So you can just say file new. Okay. You can just say file new format, mark as a plain text, control V. Just a minute. Okay, I just say control V. Okay, let me copy it again. I can just say control X, and here I can just say account dot JSON. I just want to save it on my desktop, or it's fine. Account one dot JSON. Save it. Use dot JSON. Now what I will do. So this is my transform message. Here I can just create a metadata for file which I have created. Right. So simply for first thing, I know. Let me do one thing. Just remove this query single account. Okay. I don't want to query. This time I have to insert, right? So I just remove that particular operation. So here you can define your metadata. Click on define metadata. Just say add. I can just say account JSON. Just say create. Here you can select type. I will just say JSON. I can just say example and just click here. And I think I kept it a file under my desktop. Where is untitled folder? So this is my account one.json. So it will generate my metadata. Okay. So now what I will do, I will just drag and drop a Salesforce insert connector. Salesforce create connector. Okay, create. I'll just drag and drop. Okay, I have a transfer message here. So let's wait. It should generate metadata automatically for you. Here metadata came. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me configure. So here you just refresh it. Just select the account. Okay. Yeah, this is the my object account. Select the account object. So here I'm creating my account record. So what I've done, I just select the object. Okay. And it automatically take the connection string which is available into your project. Okay. Now it should generate the metadata basically. See here you can see that the metadata is generated. While creating, I don't need account ID, right? I need a name. I can just drag and drop name here, right? It will automatically generate the name. I want industry. So website, phones, and everything is there. So you just search for industry here. So just drag and drop industry here, right? You can have a phone. Just drag and drop phone here. You can have a website. You can just drag and drop website. Then we have something called billing. And here also we have some billing addresses. So we can just drag and drop billing state, billing city, billing state, postal code, billing country. Okay, so let's see if any other parameters we need to map. Do we have a something called account number? Yeah, we have some account number. We have a revenue, account revenue. I can draw, drag and drop. Number of employees. Okay, and let's start with this much rating. So this is what we have done. So here I what we are doing. See what happened as soon as you know, so like as soon as you configure your connector basically, right? Here you can configure connector, select the type, object type. You can see this metadata is generated automatically. Whatever fields available into Salesforce, you can see it everything here basically, right? You can see everything here automatically. And here this metadata we have generated depending on your sample. So this is the input, right? And this is what this particular connector is expecting. And make sure the output is application/Java, because the connector is expecting the input as a Java, right? Again, whatever response come, it will be in the Java format. We are converting into the JSON format basically. So here I can just say rename. I can just say Salesforce account request. Here I can just say create Salesforce account. Let's go back to a system API. I know like I done some renaming, make sure like it doesn't change anything. Invoke get all account. Okay, invoke get all account. Where is the get single accounts? Get all account is okay. No, it's not create a single account, it's get. Just let me rename the things basically, right? So I'm going back there. Create it's a create single account is okay. Here I can just say get single account. Just putting the same naming convention so it doesn't create any doubt. Okay, so invoke. So here get single account. Now I just want to go to the post. So where is my post account? This is my post account. I will just remove this transform message. I will use the flow reference. And in flow reference, I can just use a create single account. Okay, I'll copy this and just put this as a invoke. So yeah, so we have implemented this method. Now we want to deploy this. Just save it and right click, stop it, and just redeploy. Better to redeploy it. Any question on create or anything like any question? Okay, no question.
No.
So let's see if it's get deployed on Anypoint Studio. Okay, it's got deployed. Let's retest everything. So first I will test with a single account. Yeah, we got that. I will test all the accounts. I got the response for that. Now I will just change it to post. Right now, once I change it to post, I need to pass a body. Right, let me remove this. So once I change it to post, I need to pass a body. So I will use the same JSON which I have it in my RAML. Okay, so copy this. It just kind of Acme Corporation, some kind of demo kind of thing. So I go Postman. So in Postman, just make sure you select as a row, and this is JSON basically. Just paste it. Just beautify it. Here, what I'm doing, localhost 8081 slash API slash accounts. Okay, and once we have done this, let's send it. We got the successful response basically. Yeah, even we please select from the valid country. It is created basically, but whatever billing country we are passing, right, which is wrong, because if you see in the Salesforce, it's a restricted pick list. So we have to make sure we are passing the same billing country as the Salesforce configure. So for that, what we will do, so I go back to my to check the values, right? So you can just say go back to account. Okay, just say create new. Okay, and just search for some kind of billing country. So what country? What country? Yeah. So it support like this kind of countries. Let's see what we have sent. This we are just pass the sample payload, right? So make sure the data is correct. So it should be. Uh, I think it should be United States. Yeah, it's a United States. Okay. Go back to Postman. Just send it. Okay, billing state and provinces. Let's see what are the billing state. For now, I will just disable this field. For now, billing city and just to make sure, like so I am just shipping and all. Shipping we are not mapping anyways. Or let's see, we just check for the billing state also. So what are the billing state right now? Uh, it doesn't have any billing state. Okay, let's remove the billing state.
Jitendra, it does have a billing state. You have to choose a country for you to show the billing state.
Yeah. For now, I'm just removing it. Okay. So yeah, for now, just want to testing purpose. Yeah, see, we get this kind of response where it's saying like it's successful. Yeah, I know like there are some data mismatching happening here. So you get that particular response. I will show that. Go back to account and let me refresh this. Okay, and let me do recently added. Okay, so what account? It's Acme. Or simply what you can do is other way. You can just copy this ID, copy this, and let's go back. So this is the account. I think it's created. Like you can see this, all these things basically. This is the account created basically, like marketing string, billing address, those kind of account is created, right? So you can see this address is also there basically. So like country, I will just like yeah, you are mentioned, right? So we have to select the first United States. Let me do that. And that. this is very quick. As soon as I'm bring the mouse on that side, gosh, this is too quick. Hmm. Just a minute, sorry. Like, yeah. Okay. So once you like, I can take some kind of Arizona or something like that. Okay. So Florida or something like that. Okay. So let me do that. So let me do Control Z here. Okay, so I can just take. I think I can take California. I think it should work. CA, like it's a California or North California. I can just put something called one, or I can put one or something like that. Let's see, send it. Yeah, this time we got the response for that. So make sure like this name and everything is iOS standards. Like Kelly, it use whatever available. The pick list is a restricted pick list on the Salesforce side. So we get that particular response also 201 basically, right? So if I copy this ID, whatever ID got it written, okay, and just paste it here. Okay, I can put it in detail so you can see this egg. Okay, so we can see everything like whatever data we pass it, it can be reflected here. This time you can see the address with countries and everything like state, country. You have a state and you have a countries also, right? Let's like now what we have to do. Let's try to deploy once again. Hopefully this time it will get deployed. So let me first make sure like I just read the pom.xml first and want to make sure like everything is configuring pom.xml correctly. It's a mule. Let me do one thing. MuleSoft System API. This ID is okay. 4.3.0. This looks all okay. Let me this test project, right? So go to pom.xml. I think this is all good. Okay. Mule extension is good. I don't see any issue. It's not trying to deploy.
Jackie, can we also put the classifier as well as Mule application
No, no, no. Classifier. Yeah, yeah.
in
I think.
line number 31, after line number 31?
Yeah, I know. Like this is where, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think we have to put a classifier basically. Okay. Because it's a Mule Maven plugin. Generally, we don't put a classifier here basically.
Yeah, like if this time it
It,
doesn't
only
work.
the classifier when we put it's a Mule plugin, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't think Mule application is some kind of classifier basically. Generally, we put a like what kind of application is this, right? Packaging. We put it here basically, right? And here we can
Right.
see the Mule subsystem API Mumbai and everything is. Let me see artifact.json. Like Java version, everything is okay. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me try to deploy in some other org. Okay, so let me think one thing like so let me go back to my anypoint platform. If I choose import from exchange, whether it is able to upload a file into exchange Salesforce, I can simply write deploy application, choose import, and here like we have something called Mumbai. Okay. Let me do one thing. If it's not working from here, it should build and like deploy it. Not this one. Let me keep this as a snapshot on 0. It doesn't matter with a snapshot, right? Let me right click any point platform, deploy to CloudHub, close window. It was an earlier error, so let me do one thing. Any point deploy to the CloudHub. Salesforce Mumbai demo. This I will take this as a long term. This all looks good. I don't see any issue here. I can just say deploy application. Guys, any question on post method? Like any question on like I can take the few question till it is getting deployed. Yeah, we just have 11 minutes left. Yeah, I want to show the proxy and auto discovery that I will show it in tomorrow's session, which is very important, right? So how we can apply the policies and everything. So the deployment took some time today. Generally, deployment doesn't take this much of the time. It happens in the seconds, minutes, like. Let's see. Now it's publishing assets. No, this time it's showing success, right? Let's see. Hopefully, it will get deployed also. Yeah, it is uploading to Exchange is okay, but let's see. Yeah, it's deployed now. I don't know what happened. Like, yeah, Abhishek, it's magic, right?
What you changed this time? Like you put
I haven't done any change basically, right? See,
like
everything is same. If you see the form.xml, everything is same. I haven't changed anything.
just the name is changed to
No,
Mumbai.
name earlier I changed with this name, right? It was
Yeah,
work. I don't know, like, I don't know.
sometime it happens.
Hey, wait, Jackie. So what is there in the line number 33 classifier?
Yeah, I think it's nothing. It by default they have like when we deployed, right? It got added by this deploy to it. It doesn't matter. Like so, generally when we publish as a connector or some reusable framework, right? So where we want to mention like something called Mule plugin or something like that, no. So here it's like you can remove this. Like I haven't mentioned this anything. It by default when we deploy using this Anypoint Studio, right? It just added that. Okay, so right now we don't have any project type because it's a normal Mule application, right? We don't have any plugin or any other kind of asset. It's simply a MuleSoft application.
Yeah,
So
the
right
point
now,
I am trying to make, Jackie, is that that classifier cannot be
yeah, you
project
remove
type.
it.
It has to be either a REST API or
No, no, we
it
don't.
cannot be having a classifier at all.
No, we don't have a class. I haven't added that, right? You have seen that, right? It came by automatically. So right, even you save it, like see for this particular project you don't have to add the classifier for the Mule application, right? Because here mention this is matter. In case if you have something called like reusable framework which you have to use as a dependency, then you use the classifier as a Mule hyphen plugin, something like that, right? So that you can publish to Exchange and then you can use that as a dependency.
Okay.
Okay, it's got deployed and now we will get this URL, right? Copy this URL. Instead of localhost, we will use this one. Okay, so go to Postman and just remove this. Okay, so I will just duplicate this. Okay, we get the HTTPS URL. I'll just say get. I'll just say none, and I want to get the account. We got the accounts, right? List of the accounts. I want to get a single account. Just paste this, send it. I got a single account also. We can verify the ID also. So ID is A0 ending with. Now I want to post the account. Create account, right? I can go to raw. Right. So I will just change some name because I don't want to create a duplicate accounts. It will, like, I can just do something like this, send it. We got a like bulk duplicate. Yeah, it duplicate detected. Correct. So I think we have to change some phone numbers and like we can remove this parent ID. Okay, what private, ECME2, and something like that. Let's see. Okay, so might be ECME2 is also available. Yeah, it's a duplicate detected. Three megapixel customer. Last time, what are the parameters I've changed? Just send it. Okay, let me completely change this. Test account customer, and I can give the phone number as something plus 1 1 615 www.abc.com. That is fine. Test 00312079401 126 US, right? Post Salesforce slash API slash account. Yeah, it got created. Okay. And let me go back to Salesforce. Let me check this report. Just say enter. You will see this test account is created. The test account, all the data which we have sent, that is visible here basically, right? You can see those things and you can see the address information, billing address and everything. Okay. So that's what we have done. So I want to create a API proxy, but I think we finished the 2 hours basically. That's fine. Like I will cover in tomorrow's session the API proxy and API auto discovery. So do you have any question basically?
Hi, Jack. And what will be need to be taken care of while we are deploying into the cloud hub? We got issues in pom.xml. No? So what
No,
kind
no,
of a
nothing in pom.xml. I generally see what happened. Like I haven't done any changes in pom.xml, but what I can tell you, what are the things you need to do? Okay. The
Okay.
first thing, make sure this group ID. Okay, this group ID, like where you mentioned this business group ID, basically. Okay, do like this is business group ID I shown you earlier from where you can get it, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Right. Make sure this artifact ID name, right? It doesn't match with the artifact name within your organization. So initially we have deployed the RAML with the same name, right? It was throwing error with duplicate ID or some REST API, right? So those kind of things. Make sure this name is unique across your organization for any assets, basically, right? Apart
Okay.
from that, make sure this packaging is a MuleSoft application, correct? Then
Okay.
you make sure this plugin looks like this basically, like extension true and like Mule Maven plugin version. See, I'm going to show one demo where we will deploy the application using the command prompt, where we will use this Mule Maven plugin. This Mule Maven plugin is basically used to deployment using the CI/CD pipeline or any using command line. So you just give a some kind of commands and it will deploy it. So we need to configure this Mule Maven plugin, which will help you in deployment, right? So these are the few things. Apart from that, we have a something called artifact.json, Mule artifact.json, right? Where you make sure like you have a properly mean Mule version is configured and proper Java version is also configured, right? So those are the things you need to consider. That's on the form.xml. But when you are doing the deployment, you have to like make sure like you select this proper replica count and the replica size, right? So we have a lot of different type of sizes available. Zero point 0.1 we got 0.2 or zero point 0.5. Then also you have to take care of this deployment model, whether you have to go with a zero downtime or whether you have to go with like downtime approach basically, right? So if you say the recreate means when you are doing the deployment, your application will be down basically till it doesn't do the successful deployment. In case of rolling update, when you are doing the deployment, the previous instance of application keep running till the new version of application is not deployed successfully.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. And like you have a question, right? Earlier, this is the URL we generated, right?
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
right, so it automatically generated the URL, and then the rest of the path which we have taken, this is the resource path, the slash API slash account. This is the resource path.
Okay. So now we will finally say this is called an one API.
This is one API. So we have total see API is one, but within that API we have a three resources right now, right? We have a
Yes.
get multiple all accounts, get single account, and create
Okay.
a single account, right? These are the few
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
And whatever, see, this is a foundation. Whatever we are developing right now, we will going to use in the batch processing. We will do some kind of large amount of data processing also going forward, right? So tomorrow
Okay.
we are going to finish some kind of security aspects, how we can secure this API, right? All these things like API life cycle management, right? So
Okay.
like then we will use all, we will see like MuleSoft talks about API led connectivity, and we will see how we are reusing these APIs for multiple like multiple sources or multiple consumers, right? We're going to cover that concepts also.
Okay.
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 Okay. Any question?
I have one question. Like,
Yeah.
see, in Exchange, some of the applications we see as a REST API, and some of them as deployed as, I mean, published as application. That is because of when we do not follow RAML. I mean,
See,
we,
RAML is generally RAML is, if you see, I will show you Exchange. Okay, right? So if you go to the Exchange, see, some of the application can be deployed as a Mule plugin also. Some of the application deployed as a REST APIs also, right? So it depend on kind. Like if you are like here, I will show you. So here, if you see, this is a REST API. Whenever you publish anything related to RAML, right, that will going to publish as a REST API. So there are like if you want, if you are creating some logging framework, or if you are creating some error handling framework, and if you want to use those error handling framework and the logging framework as a dependency in your project, right? And then across the multiple project. In such cases, it will be the Mule plugin, or it's kind of connector basically. I will show you. So if you see here, if you go to the pom.xml, and if you see the connector dependency, right? It is added as a classified as a Mule plugin, basically all dependency, right? So whenever, and if you see this RAML, the classifier is a RAML basically for that. Correct. So for REST API, whenever we publish any RAML, it will show the as a REST API. And when you are adding dependency into your pom.xml, the classifier will be the RAML basically. And in case of Open API spec, it will be OS. Okay. And here, and any connectors or any dependency or any reusable framework you are publishing as a Mule plugin, then you use the Mule classifier as a Mule plugin. Right? If you show the provided by MuleSoft also, we have a connectors and everything. And whenever you are developing anything custom, right? So like, you can see, you can put the keyword customs also. Whenever you want to publish something as a plugin, right? So simply you can add the dependency on application, you can use that. It can be published as a Mule plugin. But whenever you are publishing your application into your see MuleSoft application, you are published right now. What happened? Whatever application we are deploying here, right? So first it create a jar file into the MuleSoft repository, which is not visible into Exchange basically. That is not visible into Exchange. But what you can do if you want to see it, like whether this application is what kind, what versions, and see, first version it deployed as a 1.0.0.0. This is my first version. And if you want to see it, what are the different versions available, you can just see import file from Exchange. In case if you want to roll back right to the previous version, you can do that. So here you can search for like something called Mumbai. I have one keyword in Mumbai, right? So you get this system API, select that. Here you can, right now we have just one version, right? So for example, you are deploying 1.0.1, and you have used some like deployment model as a recreate, right? Recreate basically. And it failed basically, somehow it failed, and you want to go back to previous version, you can just select here, select the previous version from here, and just select, it will redeploy the previous version. Is this answer your question? Okay. Yeah, so we'll talk about all this concept more. Okay, so guys, yeah, so I think I will not take you much time today. It's almost 2 hours also. So I just thanks everyone. Yeah. So like there are some small glitch for deployment. I don't know what was the problem, but anyhow it got
Ja-
fixed later. Yeah.
Jackie, I think like as you mentioned, I realized our RAML name and our application name cannot be same as in
Yeah.
Cloud
That I
2.
mentioned. That I've changed it later, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why it got deployed later when you change it,
Yeah.
because it was giving that error like you are trying to deploy
Yeah.
app, but it should be REST API.
Yeah.
So
That's why I put hyphen Mumbai
yeah,
because
so in
yeah.
Cloud 2, it is very tightly coupled with Exchange. So
Correct.
it was finding the same name as your RAML. That's
See,
why it was not deploying.
problem with the in CloudHub 1.0, it doesn't publish to the exchange, right? In
Yeah,
case of
right.
CloudHub 2.0, first it published this particular jar into exchange, even it's not visible, right? But it published into the MuleSoft repository, right? And then it deployed. That is the life cycle for the CloudHub 2.0 deployment. But in CloudHub 1.0, it doesn't happen like that, right? So that's
Yes.
why, yeah, it get easily deployed in the CloudHub 1.0, but CloudHub 2.0 is tightly coupled. That's why I keep on mentioning the asset name should be unique across the organization, right? If you are keeping the asset name same, which is conflicting with other asset name, then it will not deploy. It will throw that particular error which we are getting. Okay. And the second thing, make sure also like this artifact ID, group ID is very important. It should match with your organization ID where you are deploying it. Any question? So guys, please join tomorrow. Like tomorrow, we have important things where we have set up the foundation, right? Now we will start building the security. We will start building like batch processing on the top of that particular foundation. Okay. Any question? Yeah. So yeah, Abhishek, do you have any question like, or do you want to say anything?
Nope, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks everyone. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for
Everyone.
joining. Yeah. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow.